Let us begin. Tava kathamritam tatta jivanam kavi bhiriritam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadatatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. In our last class, we have discussed on passion. And today our focus will be on another very interesting topic, that is samskara, tendencies inherited from previous births. It was October 11, 1884. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was discussing about meditation. He narrated the sits, the koshas, which are covering the real self. So that is we have already gone through that, so most of you know. He was discussing how mind of the yogis steadily go upward from different seats, annamaya kosha, that annamaya, the gross body, through manomaya, pranamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. He also mentioned the levels of the three bodies, that is the Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, the gross body, subtle body, causal body, and in the words of Sira, the final is, it goes to as Sri Ramakrishna is telling, last of all, the mind loses itself in the great cause. In the great cause, that is the beginning, and from there only every creation is coming. We can call it Saguna Brahma, we can call it Ishvara. From there only it begins. It disappears, it merges in the great cause. What one can experience after that cannot be described in words. In the Upanishads also we find again and again this experience of merging into the source cannot be described. Why? Because this is not objective. Anything that is objective, anything that is outside, anything that we can describe within the boundary of time, space and causation, that we can describe. That we can say something about that. But here only experience, asti, it is there. I have seen it, I have realized it, that type of experience. Then he mentioned one can meditate even with his eyes open. Friends, this is another. See, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, when he is talking, very casual. But if you go deep into it, it's a big philosophy. That is exactly what Swami Vivekananda mentioned when he was talking with his brother disciples. Every sentence of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, I can write a big philosophy on that. The philosophy, jhudi jhudi darshan lekha jai, he said. From the one sentence we can write so many philosophies. When he mentioned this one, it goes to the cause, the great cause, and it never comes back. It's not by reading the scripture, but from his own experience. He was the God himself. So obviously he knew from where everything is beginning. That is the beauty of it. When you read every line of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you start feeling, yeah, this is truth. It can be. So there will be no doubt about it. And sometimes when we read the descriptions, explanations of the great expounders of the Vedanta, Dvaitism, Advaitism, people are confused. Sometimes they, what is this, what is that? A lot of explanations are necessary. But when you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, if you have the background of little philosophy, and of course the sociology, and the situation, then all that economy a little, then you will be able to understand so wonderfully. So that is the beauty of it. He mentioned one can meditate even with his eyes open. This is called Karma Yoga. Perfect Karma Yoga means meditation with eyes open. Karma Yoga. Can you imagine? Swami Vivekananda, when Sri Ramakrishna was telling, it is not Sheba, it is not Daya, compassion. He was describing about some of the points of the Vaishnavas, and there the Daya, the word Daya is there. And what is this Daya? Compassion. And Sri Ramakrishna said, how can this be compassion? It is the seva. You can only serve. You cannot do anything else. And from here, the Karma Yoga. Swami Vivekananda took it up and said, oh my God, if I get an opportunity, I will explain it to everyone. When one reaches the perfection of Bhakti Yoga or Jnana Yoga, one can perfectly practice Karma Yoga. When you are talking about Karma Yoga is this. Karma Yoga, just we go and give some food or clothing and medicine and help a person. Karma Yoga? No. Karma Yoga means you see God in that person whom you are serving. And how you can do that? After the realization only it is possible. Of course, we do everything as a practice. Those who are practicing the path of Jnana, they are practicing only. Path of Bhakti, they go to temples and the churches, synagogues, devotion only, practicing. But true Karma Yogi means this. That's why Swami Vivekananda gave the stress on this. Shankaracharya, he stressed on the Jnana Yoga. Swami Vivekananda and Sri Ramakrishna stressed on Karma Yoga. And of course, the Bhakti and Jnana and Dhyana. But the Karma Yoga, you have to develop that spirit that you can see God in every being. That's why he is telling, then one can meditate. Can you imagine the word that he is using? One can meditate even with his eyes open. What is the purpose of meditation? Seeing God within, seeing the soul of the self within, and forgetting your own self. So that is the purpose of meditation. Concentrating your whole mind, withdrawing your whole mind from all other objects and focusing on one particular thing, that is meditation. So obviously when he says with open eyes means what? In another place he said, if you can see God in images by closing your eyes, can't you see God with open eyes? Again and again he is telling. And this is the position I think Shankaracharya mentioned with the Jivan Mukti condition. You are completely free. Now a bhakta, what is his goal? He wants to see God within his own self. And after reaching over there, after he sees that, realizes that the God is within his self, within the temple of his heart, then he opens his eyes and sees the same God in everything, in every being. He is in every form, in every sound. So that is the beauty. In its perfect stage, Bhakta sees his beloved God in different forms. The God a devotee worship in the temple, meditate in the innermost heart, manifest in different forms and things before the open eyes of the devotee, and that is called Karma Yogi stand. When a person is doing the karma, Shankaracharya is arguing, the karma and jnana cannot be mixed together. The karma only purify the mind. Some people they think there is a process for the purification of the mind. The same when we are reading the scripture, purifying the mind, when you are worshipping the God, purifying the mind, when we are trying to meditate and withdrawing all the senses from the sense objects, purifying the mind. But when the mind is purified, and when you reaches to the ultimate, the God you see as a bhakta, as a devotee, you see God in every being. That is the stand of the karma. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, you can meditate with open eyes. It is the perfected, when the jnani, he sees, he goes on negating, not this, not this, not this. These are all inner things. This is not consciousness, this is not consciousness, like that. That is the process. He goes, and ultimately, when he reaches to that consciousness, then he is so happy, and then he opens his eyes. What he sees? He sees the same consciousness in everything. That is exactly what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, that when you are going up on the terrace, on the roof of a house, you are negating all the steps. Oh, this is not the roof, this is not the roof, this is not the roof. And when you reaches the roof, then you realize all the steps are made of the same stones and dust and cement and all bricks, everything, which is that roof is also made of. This is the beauty. This is called Vijnani Drishtibhangi. From the viewpoint as a Vijnani, after the realization of that, then only it is. So Karma Yoga means ultimate realization and seeing God in everything. Then only the humbleness will come. Then only the love will come. Then only the service will automatically generate within you. Otherwise, it is a practice we are doing. So, two viewpoints about the God. The God as the ruler and God as the father. We will discuss that. The tutor question. Who is this tutor? We have already read in the last day. A tutor of the Tagores entered the room with some boys of the family. The one line Master Mahashaya has mentioned. The mostly, as because the Tagore means the Rabindranath Tagore's family, and they were very rich. They were landlords. They were having 2-3 ships in those days, and that used to sell from Calcutta to London and London to Calcutta, India. So to bringing the different type of, particularly the eyes. They used to take the jute and bring the eyes. They were very rich, and obviously they used to keep the tutors, teachers, to train their boys instead of sending to the schools. In those days, school never developed in that way. The small schools were there. So the home schooling sort of thing. So this tutor, with some of the students, their family boys, they came to visit Dakshinesha, and the tutor entered into Sri Ramakrishna's room, and Sri Ramakrishna noticed them, and he is continuing the talk. Now here the tutor is conversing with Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. A tutor said, "Sir," when Sri Ramakrishna is telling one can meditate even with eyes open, then he is giving as his own immediately an example. He said, one can meditate even while talking. Take the case of a man with toothache. When you are talking, when you are working, every time you can remember. Then he gave the example of a toothache. When that pain is there, you all the time feel the pain, and after all the time working also. The tutor then commented, "Yes, sir, I know that very well." That means he had the experience of the toothache. All laughed. The master, smiling, "Yes, even when his teeth ache, he does all his duties, but his mind is on the pain. Likewise, one can meditate with eyes open and while talking to others as well. Now the tutor, this gentleman, now he is mentioning, he is telling one of the aspect of God is redeemer of the sinner. That is the hope. God is compassionate. Now this is the concept. In those days, naturally, in all over India, the Britishers were there, and the Christian ideology was very common. The people used to know, particularly educated people, they used to know about it, and he mentioned about it, the redeemer of the sin and the compassion, etc. He mentioned Sri Ramakrishna. It is, of course, it is there. In all religion they say God is compassionate, He is all powerful, all merciful, etc. But they look at the view of the Sri Ramakrishna. That's why I was mentioning the God as a ruler and God as Father. When the God is a ruler, then obviously I am afraid. Then you will notice that mostly they will say, if a person is a devotee, then they will say he is a God-fearing person, God-fearing. But I always say, why? It should be God-loving. Why should he be afraid of God? It should be God-loving. The afraid of God is not a good thing. We should be loving God. How it is? Then he is telling like this. Sri Ramakrishna is telling. The Sikhs too said that God was compassionate. Sikhs means a group of people they used to live nearby in the Dakshinesha, and the Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning about them. God was compassionate. I asked, how is He compassionate? Why? They answered, He has begotten us, He has created so many things for us, He has brought us up to be men, and He protects us from danger at every step. Thereupon I said, after begetting us, God looks after us and feeds us. Is there much credit in that? Suppose a son is born to you. Do you expect a man from another part of the city to bring him up? This is the view I was mentioning, God as Father. God has given me birth. God has created me. And God has given everything for me. This is nothing special. Every father is doing, and every father should do, supposed to do. The parents are taking the care of the children. Where is the problem? So that is exactly what is happening over here. So this Sri Ramakrishna is telling, this is the two viewpoints. One is afraid of God. And when we are afraid of God, we always say, thank you, sir, thank you, sir. But the son will never, and not at least all the time, thanking the father for every gift, every food, every drink, everything that the father is providing for the son. It is natural. So our attitude to God should be like that. God is our close. If we do something, some mistake, we should go to God and say, I'm sorry, God. Sorry, Father, I did this mistake. I will try to overcome it. Please help me too. So that is the way that conversation, that devotion should be there. So otherwise, it becomes afraid. The people, those who are working under God, as servants, then that is a different thing. That they also are praying to God, but they are afraid. This is what is happening. And now here, Sri Ramakrishna is telling the tutors, then giving this question. This is very important. Then tutor, he is telling, revered sir, one man quickly succeeds in spiritual life and another doesn't succeed at all. How do you explain that? There is a question that the tutor is asking, the why it is happening. One man quickly succeeds in spiritual life and another doesn't succeed at all. How do you explain that? Master, the truth is that a man succeeds to a great extent because of the tendencies inherited from his previous births. Try to understand this very clearly. So this is a very difficult philosophy. The reincarnation theory and the karma theory, based on which our Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism and many other, we find that they are having this. So we will try to understand this. Here you find the one gentleman, I was reading the article, K.R.K. Murthy. In his article, Is There Life After Death? He mentioned reincarnation is an ancient belief that the soul survives and returns to the earth in another forms after the death of the body. He has listed that people of Philippines, Central Asia, Siberia, Australia, Africa, Aztecs and Incas all believe in life after death. So mostly tribal people, they believed because they loved nature, they worshipped nature, so believed in the life after death. The Celts of ancient England and Ireland, Gaul of the France, believed in the doctrine of immortality. Mesopotamians believed that the status of the dead in the other world depends on their deeds in earlier life. Friends, why I am mentioning from his article? Because not only the Hindus, almost all the tribal people, ancient people, they believed in the death and afterlife. And Mesopotamians, that's the very advanced civilization, and they believed that the afterlife, the position of the dead will be, afterlife will be according to their karma. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned over here, he succeed to a great extent because tendencies inherited from his previous births. The same way we find in the Mesopotamians. Let us take the Greek philosopher and the Socrates. He preached the immortality of the soul. And the Plato, he believed that human spirit goes through 9 cycles of birth. And the same way the Judaism, he believed in the physical resurrection of the dead and immortality of the soul. On the basis of the Judaism, from there we can say the Christianity, then Islam has come, that they believe that the physical resurrection, there is a difference between the Hindus, the spirit we believe, and they think that they believe in the physical resurrection. In the Christianity, Jesus was crucified, but he physically resurrected and he went away. So that is a great day for them, and that is a very great function. From the basis of that only Christianity has come, the physical resurrection. That's why they won't burn the dead body. They will bury the dead body, and it nicely they will keep it, so that when the God will give the call, they can go and face him, talk to him, etc. In the Torah it is said, give the sinner a fresh start to purify his soul by acquiring merits. That is the belief. But what I like to bring home over here, that each and every one is believing, all the faiths are believing. The old traditional so-called tribal faiths, they are also believing, and the organized the religions, they are also believing. So this is very, very important. And on the basis of this, Swami Vivekananda said, you are the maker of your own destiny. What I am today, that depends on this. I think I was telling in some of our discourses that our subtle body, Sukshma Sharira, and the Sukshma Sharira, there it all occurs, and then when we take the birth, that is the cause. We choose the beauty of our body, environment where I should be born, and everything. In the Torah, it is said, give the sinner a fresh start to purify his soul by acquiring merits. Taoism believes there is a continuity without a starting point. And then he says, birth is not a beginning and death is not the end. It believes in the continuity. Jainism believes that salvation is possible by freeing the soul from the matter. Freeing the soul from the matter is only the expression, but in reality, the matter means all the five objects. So obviously, if all my senses goes out, five sense organs are there, it goes out and enjoy the five sense objects. And when the five sense objects are there acquiring and bringing back to the senses, then what is happening? So naturally, it is the desire, and from the desire our mind goes. So Jainism believes that. Jainism, Buddhism, Hinduism, this is from the same stock. Obviously, they believe in that way, believe that salvation is possible by freeing the soul from the matter. They believe in the concept of karma. Now, what is this karma? And when we mention about karma, and only few minutes before when I was talking about the karma yoga, is a heaven and hell difference. The karma means the action. Then when I am doing the work, if I am having the desire that binds, and desire goes on producing another desire, it has no end. So it goes on creating, and creating. Then no question of salvation. When we start thinking all these objects are not going to give me any joy, and I withdraw all my senses, and I restrict my mind, and I go back to the source, that is called karma yoga. But when the karma bandhana, so that is the desire, and that takes to our objects. So this is what we should understand. The Jainism believe in that a salvation is possible by freeing the soul from the matter. And what is Buddhism? Is also believe in the concept of karma. New birth takes place according to one's karma, and it's the action in the previous births. And in the Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning about it. And we find over here, according to Panchadashi, the 17 principles, including the consciousness, which is the substratum of all the mind's projections, then the subtle body, 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action, 5 vital breaths, mind and intellect, and the soul. The soul means Jivatma. This is called Chidabhasha, the reflection of the original consciousness on our intellect. That's called Chidabhasha. Chid means consciousness, Abhasha, reflection, which is present in all the 17 principles, are derived from the term the self, Jiva. This self transmigrate from body to body according to one's karma. So again and again we go back to our own karma. So if the karma is good, and surely we are going to get the good result. And if the karma is bad, we are surely going to get the bad result. The substratum, the consciousness, the subtle body, the soul do not suffer from birth and death. Its assumption of suitable body is regarded as birth. and its discarding the body is regarded as death. Look at it, the sentence is the Adi Shankaracharya in one of his articles, Jagadguru Shankaracharya Swami Krishna Bodhana Saraswati Maharaj, he mentioned it. I am reading from his article, and he mentioned it in this way, that the soul, that self, when he is accepting a body, it is a birth. When he is discarding the body, it is the death. Who is the master? That soul, that self, that jiva, that shukshma sharira, which is having 17 the parts, the 17 principles that we just list here. That is why in the Bhagavad Gita, the 2nd chapter, 22nd verse, it says, Bhashamchi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinnati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirinani anyani sanyati navani dehi. Just like the human being discards the old clothes and wears the new clothes, the self relinquishes the old body and assumes the new body. When we remember this, do you feel fear about death? It's only a change and nothing else. We are not going, suppose we are from India, we are coming to America. A little bit of anxiety is a new place, new people, new environment, what will happen, that much it is there. But when we go to America, we find again so many friends and the very good enjoyable situation we enjoy. We don't like to go back from here. It's same like that. The birth and death means it is the soul which is choosing it. So it says that Bhashamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. That is nicely explained over here. There is a principle different from body, vital force, sense organs, which transmigrates from body to body and has birth and birth. Friends, we should remember the real self is not changing at all. It is unchanged. We should not mix up this. That's why I am telling again, the original self is like the sun. That has nothing to do with anything. It is giving the light. Reflection of the sun on the waves, on the water, that is a different thing. And that reflections, the reflected sun on the waves, exactly like our that consciousness reflecting on our intellect. And the intellect again associated with all these total 17 as we listed over there, 5 organs of action, 5 organs of knowledge, then 5 vital forces, etc. So this total 17 when it comes is called Sukshma Sharira, that's a Jivatma. We are talking about that Jivatma. Though it is a reflection, but it is a reflection of the consciousness on the intellect, the buddhi, obviously it can take the what's called that decision. So obviously this birth and death. And here again I was reading in the Shankara, he is telling Shankaracharya, Kaushitiki Brahmana Upanishad, it says, on their way to the other world, after the death what happens? On their way to the other world, after death, people reach the moon. If the souls are eligible to take birth soon, they come back to the earth. It's the Kaushitiki Upanishad, it says, after the death, they go to the moon, but not immediately. Immediately after the death, it is only mind. We have to remember, it is only mind. Mind means desire, the thought. We don't like to leave this body because we have loved this. You know, sometimes people, they don't like to leave their old house. There's so many traditions are there. Grandfather was there, and the grandfather's father, he built that. And so obviously, naturally, all those they go on remembering. They don't like to discard that old building. When this old building is not discarded, they will be there. But then after some time, they will think it is okay, let us go back, and then they leave that. So Kaushitaki Brahma Upanishad, it says, on their way to the other world, after death, people reach the moon. And after reaching the moon, if the desire to go back to the life again are very strong, then they go back. Otherwise, sometimes they are, oh, it is enough. So like the people after the work, they go back for vacation, and when they go for the vacation, then they are waiting over there or extend the vacation for some time. Same way, some people when they are dead, they go to the moon, and after reaching the moon, they are sitting over there for some time, or they don't know it is enough. Now let us go back once again. So that's mentioning that they come back. If the souls are eligible to take birth, soon they come back to the earth through the rains and reach the bodies which are suitable for their karma. And other Upanishads also mention they go that particular soul through the food and water enter into the body of the person, and then the birth takes place. But he chooses that particular soul, that chooses that particular food. He knows, that soul knows, is going to eat by that particular person in that family. Can you imagine? Everything is nothing but our own creation. And how we are creating? Karma phala. Not that then and there we are taking the decision, oh, not this man, that particular. No. It's according to the karma phala, we are bound to go over there. We have the right to do the karma in our own way. But after that, the result will take its own course. Somebody has killed someone. Now the police arrested him. Up to whether I will kill or not, it was his free decision. But when he is arrested, the law will take its own course. The similar way, whatever action we do over here while leaving, after that it will take their own course. So come back to the earth and did reach there, that is the karma. They take birth many, as maybe the worm, insect, bird, lion, human being, God or celestial, that all this thing, it goes on like this. So this is the way all things goes. Friends, this is really very interesting topic Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna raised today, and in a small way we can discuss now. Let us go back to the original the discussion. People think he has attained the goal all of a sudden. A man drank a glass of wine in the morning. The Sri Ramakrishna, immediately he will give some example, and that's a beautiful example now he is giving. And as because a person is doing a small little work and getting a big result, that he is mentioning through this example. People think he has attained the goal all of a sudden. No. A man drank a glass of wine in the morning. It made him completely drunk. He began to behave improperly. People were amazed to see that he could do so drunk after only one glass. But another man said, why? He has been drinking all night. Those who observed him, they found that only one glass he has drunk in the morning, so they could see. But actually his karma phala all his reserved thing was there. That's why Ramakrishna said, whole night he was drinking. You only saw that he drank only one glass now in the morning, and one glass, the effect should not be that much. The people was wondering. The same way the karma phala. Suddenly we see the one person, he was just simple, ordinary, suddenly he becomes someone. And naturally the people, they wonder how it is possible. He was having all the work, or the good or bad. That effect comes at that moment, at that time. This is what Sri Ramakrishna said. The Hanuman burned down the golden city of Lanka. People were amazed that a mere monkey could burn the whole city. But then they said, the truth is that the city was burnt by the sai of Sita and the worth of Rama. And you know that fortune teller, so Shana, there was a lady, the very famous, that's called Shana at Bachan. Bachan means she quoted. If this is this, then the result will be like this. If this is this, the result will be like this. He said, if you find that it is the fire that is burning and the people are suffering, and then the flood is coming and creating havoc in the country, then if the diseases are coming and the millions are dying, know for sure that the ruler has committed some sin. If the rulers are committing sins, and this whole people, they suffer. There is Shana Bachan. They say in that way. So it is the karma and the result. Of course, only the ruler who chose the ruler. We choose that ruler, we liked him. So obviously now that his own thing, his behavior will affect of the all people will be have that effect. So karma and its result, that is what exactly now we are discussing. Look at Lala Babu. There is a gentleman, Lala Babu, a well-known landlord of Bengal, who renounced the world at an early age and lived in Mathura, and also as a Vaishnava monk. This is a famous story of Lala Babu in Bengal. He was very rich, but suddenly he heard one lady, she is asking her daughter to burn the basana. The basana means the dry leaves. And in the colloquial term, basana is the dry leaves, particularly plantain leaves are called basanas. And the lady, and she has to warm the water or something, she called out to her daughter, now it is becoming the dark, the night is falling, you will burn the basanas. The basanas, the term she used, that way, and that landlord was passing, he heard it. And the basanas, she meant dry leaf, but this man thought desires. Immediately that knowledge dawned, and he said, oh my God, I am becoming old, then what to do now? I should leave the hearth and home and concentrate my mind, meditate on God. Then and there, from there itself, he left. That is a very famous story. So Sri Ramakrishna mentioning about that Lala Babu. He had so much wealth. Could he have renounced it all suddenly without the good tendencies of the previous birth? Sri Ramakrishna quoting, unless and until you are having from the previous birth these tendencies, you cannot do anything. So Lala Babu left that wealth, huge wealth, just in one blink. He heard the word, immediately he decided, I have to burn my desires, because it is the desire that binds. And immediately he left everything and went away. Sri Ramakrishna said it is not that particular word that encouraged him, and then and there he took the decision. Actually, in his previous birth, he prepared himself to renounce, and that was only to ignite. So that is the way it goes every time. So in his last birth, a man is endowed with sattva. His mind is directed to God. He longs for God. He withdraws his mind from worldly things. Krishna Das Pal came here. I found him full of rajas, but it must be said that he observed the Hindu customs. He left his shoes outside before entering the room. After a little conversation, I discovered that he had no staff inside. I asked him about man's duty. He said, to do good to the world. I said, my dear sir, who are you? What good will you do to the world? Is the world such a small thing that you think you can help it? See, another very important statement Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Majority of the people, they think that we should do good to the world, and they think that they will their plans will change the whole world, each and every one. You talk to the philosophers, you talk to the economists, you talk to the politicians, each and every one, and they are thinking, I can change the world, I can change the world. But in reality, no, we cannot. All these people that we are here in this earth, in different parts of the world, all of us, including the animals, the birds and reptiles, the insects, now after this discussion, I think now we know each and every one of us, including the trees, because of our past karma phala. And sometimes it is individual karma that is giving me the effect, good and bad, and sometimes it is the collective karma is giving the effect of good and bad. There's sometimes some people, I heard a lunatic, a young boy lost his brain. He was a lunatic. He was roaming around. Then a group of people, just for the fun of it, they started beating him, and he was crying. He was trying to save himself. He was running here and there. And then the new people are also coming. They were beating all around people. They are laughing. They were thinking it is just a game. Then they beat him so much he passed away. Now all the people around there looking at it, they didn't call the police. And the young men of those streets, they are thinking it is a fun. The poor person could not resist himself. And so, don't you think that all the people around there, those who are doing directly, of course they will have the bad karma phala. They will also suffer. But those who were observing that and enjoying, they will also suffer. So this is the effect, the accumulative effect is really, really very difficult. We do not believe. That's why the morality in all societies, they always try to teach the morality. Why morality? Not that I am helping others. I am helping myself. Swami Vivekananda is asking, why should I be moral? Because being moral, I am helping myself. You know, sometimes just I am thinking this group of people will be good, and in their support I go on telling the false thing, but I go on try convince other people, no, this is good. All false propaganda. And I support that. I am not doing directly, I am just participating and supporting, forwarding. Nowadays it has become so easy. that also creates the bad karma phala. So friends, we should be very, very careful about the karma phala. What is this karma? Physically we do, mentally we do, and through the words we do. So one should be very careful. When we are talking about others and circulating some gossips about others, apparently that is nothing. Apparently just the fun. Sometimes the women, the girls, just gossiping about another lady, but they don't understand the other lady is suffering because of that. They just gossip, just fun. Every society, every time you go to see the movie, you go to your own family, you see in around, these things are happening like that. People are discussing about that. So one has to be very, very careful. Sometimes I say the goddess Kali, she is biting the tongue. Why, you know? No, I should not say anything about which I am not convinced, about which I do not know. I should not say anything like that. If many of you know, many of you remember what happened when the Duryodhana fell because he was thinking that there is a water, and the Draupadi, she laughed, insulting that man, and from there the whole thing took turn, and Duryodhana became very angry. The whole Mahabharata war, because of that. One should be very careful. The karma phala is so subtle, and that is the reason all the monks, they will be constantly telling, before you start the work, you should pray to God, and you should say, I am going to do this work. Everyone should do this. Go to the God you believe, pray to Him. So I am going to do this. Oh God, if you think that this is going to be beneficial for everyone, then make me successful. And if you think that it is not going to be good for others, then let me not be successful in that work. God will guide. For every little thing, we should depend on that. There is someone who is there guiding us. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, I conclude with this. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was narrating this. And then the one devotee said, oh my God, if everything is directed by the karma phala that I have already done in my previous birth, that what I should do now? And there is no way. No. It is that today we were having a parliamentary religion discussion, and everywhere people are dying, crying, no food. The same story everywhere, all over the world. Then one of the members, she suggested, we all know the sad stories. Let us think about something in a positive way. This will pass. In history, the difficult days have come, difficult times have come, millions have died, but again the new life, the new everything came. So think about that. After the darkness, the sun will rise. The same way, whatever the past karma we have done, forget about it. Forget about the darkness. Think about the sun that is going to rise, and that sun will be your good karma. All the good deeds that we do, all the good thought that we think. Every morning if we get up, immediately after the sleep, if we get up and sit and pray, Sarva staratu durgani, sarvo bhadrani pashyatu, sarva sadbuddhimapnotu, sarva sarvatra nandatu. The wonderful prayer. Let everybody be happy, healthy, positive, and let one and all, everywhere, every nook and corner of the world, happy. So that way I am also making myself happy, healthy. So that is only positive way. That is called the good karma. I am thinking, and also restrain myself consciously that I am not going to do any harm to anyone by spreading the wrong information. Maybe it is political, or maybe it is just a fun, a social fun. No, I am not going to take part in that. One should be careful, because one's own karma phala, that will determine is the next birth. Don't care about the death. It is nothing. We are going to born again. But that birth which we are going to take should be in a very high condition, so that at least if not in this life, from that particular next life, we will realize our own self. We will see our own God. Thank you, friends. Let us chant this mantra and conclude. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.